Orlando City Stadium. It is USL Soccer 2017. Tonight, the home opener for OCB as the Lions host Louisville City. Good evening and welcome to Orlando, everybody. Alongside Oliver 12trees, I'm Jeff Radcliffe. Thanks for joining us here on USL Match Center. And Oliver, it's OCB versus the club's former affiliation in Louisville. A lot of shared DNA.
Certainly, Jeff. Even the head coach, James O'Connor, a former teammate, a midfield partner of head coach of OCB, Anthony Pulis, here at Orlando City, and was even assistant coach for the club at City Beautiful before MLS days.
The passion.
You see George Davis on loan here in 2012, a player to watch.
Certainly, George Davis was a top returning goal scorer actually for Louisville City from last year, returning to the lineup, and he'll play in behind Cameron Lancaster tonight, looking to supply the bullets for the Englishman up front.
On the other side, Michael Cox, a guy that led the team in goals last year with 14. Make that 11.
Yeah, the Canadian was a big impact for OCB last year, and he'll be looking to carry on where he left off this season.
Here's a look at the starting lineup first of the visitors from Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville in their traditional 4-2-3-1 lineup. The Jamaican Speedy Williams will anchor the midfield with Paulo Del Piccolo, and the speedster on the right-hand side, Richard Ballard, will support the striker Lancaster. For OCB, Earl Edwards down from Orlando City is at a fantastic start to the season. They'll be in a 4-4-2. They'll be looking for Austin Martz on the right, and of course Pierre Da Silva on the left to supply the ammunition for the central strikers, Cox.
Now pause now for the national anthem here in Orlando.
This is where it all began. This is where it all began. The passion. The reputation. Both on the field and in the stands. They ruled an era in this league, and now they are back for more. From obscurity to greatness. From where we came to what lies ahead. The future of Orlando City can be summed up in 3 letters. OCB.
I mean, it's been great. I worked hard since the academy all the way up to OCB, and now I reached my goal. My goal was to play for MLS team, and now I'm living it right now.
Well, Pierre's a left winger, a left-sided midfield player who's got really good balance. He's good athletically. He's got a really good left foot. But the biggest thing for me is his mentality is fantastic. He grew as the season went on and really adapted to being a full-time professional really well. But he's still got a lot of work to do, and he knows that. But this is the start of hopefully a good career for him. If
you keep working hard, like step by step, you'll get there and you'll reach your goal. I have to keep working hard and keep developing as a player. I mean, the fact that OCB and obviously the Orlando City MLS team were here in the same training facility, so the guys are around each other on a daily basis anyway. We train at the same location, and then obviously when players are needed, then they obviously get bumped up and they get integrated into training. So from that standpoint, I think he should transition really well.
We are back at Orlando City Stadium. It's Louisville City and Orlando City B. We talked about the affiliation and the starting midfield in 2012 and 2013 for Orlando City in their first iteration of USL. It was Anthony Pulis and James O'Connor. Those are the 2 head coaches tonight.
Certainly, and they have a very friendly and fierce rivalry, I'm sure. There'll be certainly, fierce rivals on the pitch here tonight, and then afterwards, I'm sure they'll be best of friends again to talk about the game afterwards. But it's a big game. Louisville City and Orlando City B. Last time they played it, there were fireworks. Orlando City gets the win in the last minute last season, and I'm sure Louisville City be looking for revenge on that one too.
Officials taking the photo there as the captains, Louis Neal and Paulo Del Piccolo. There with our referee crew led by Marcos de Oliveira. He's assisted by Kermit Quisenberry, Jonathan Quinter, and the 4th official is Natalie Simon.
You see Louis Neal there, important role he has tonight. he'll be back at his more traditional holding midfield role, and he'll be looking to get on the ball, switch the point of attack, and really try and control the tempo of the game.
How is that different for him, Oliver, in a 4-4-2 as opposed to last year when it was predominantly a 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, it means a little bit extra running for the 35-year-old Lewis Neal. So he'll have to get in some work, but he's next to the young Riley Kraft in there, who's a young lad out of Sacramento Republic FC that they brought in this year, former U.S. Youth International. So certainly Lewis will be relying on Riley Kraft's legs to get around the park and cover ground and then get him the ball. And then, you know, when Lewis Neal gets on the ball, he'll be looking to get the ball out wide, get the ball into Austin Martz, use his speed, and get all the ball, of course, to Pierre Da Silva. And they can supply the ammunition for sure for Ben Polk and Michael Cox.
There are just 4 returning USL contract players for OCB this season. 2 of them are starting tonight. Michael Cox and Lewis Neal, Zach Ellis-Hayden, and Jake Fendelson, the goalkeeper, are on the bench. Whereas Louisville firmly intact. A lot of the attacking talent for James O'Connor back again this year.
Yeah, Del Piccolo's a big part, the Colorado native. Will captain the team, and he'll be in direct opposition to Lewis Neal. So look for a great battle in the center of the park. And George Davis, the fourth, he's been very, very strong over the years in the USL, and he'll come back, return 5 goals from last season, 2 assists, and he'll be looking to get on the ball in behind the central striker, Cameron Lancaster.
Final instructions, Captain Lewis Neal giving those to the purple-clad lines. These 2 teams share the same colors, but it will be Louisville in the gold shorts and the hoops across the front of their jerseys, their road combination here again in their 3rd season. Louisville City FC, their first season, 2015, was an affiliation with Orlando City. Then last year, the club here in Orlando, the MLS club, decided to go their own way and start an MLS B squad, which is en vogue right now in USL. We're underway from here in Orlando. Orlando City B will attack from left to right, and they will face some fierce opposition tonight from one of the top teams in USL the last couple of years. In fact, 2 years in a row, they made it to the conference finals. He played back to center as Brian Ownby, former Richmond kicker, a player to watch on that left flank. Looking a little different now. He's got that Nat Borchers beard on the near side, not the clean-shaven one we've known for years.
That makes it easy for us in the booth to spot him.
Well, a little further from the action than we were last year at Eastern Florida State College.
Yeah, certainly a more of a grand setting here tonight, and just a wonderful stadium that these OCB players are getting the opportunity to play in, week out.
Earl Edwards clad in red and going to get a big run out this year with OCB. As Polk will play it left side. Here's Da Silva, an MLS contract player this year. A little flick-on header towards the back post. As OCB's Austin Martz will chase it down, track it back to center. Neal working with Martz, sent to the back post, and it was dealt with by Kyle Smith.
So you see early in the game, you can see Coach Anthony Pulis' tactics, get the ball wide. Pierre Da Silva picks it up out wide, and on the other side, Austin Martz get the ball wide, and both put deliveries into the box.
A foul committed by OCB's Ben Polk. These 2 teams each looking for their first goal of this young 2017 USL season, as Orlando City shut out 1-0 in Tampa in week 1. It was a 0-0 result at home for Louisville against St. Louis.
They did dominate that game, 22 shots. They led the shot count, and Coach Paul O'Connor did think they were a little unlucky after the game not to get the result.
Certainly sensed the frustration in that interview.
James O'Connor, I'm sorry.
Zach Carroll, a highly regarded center back, will to get out of that back line. Turned over, and this is what Louisville will do. They will try to turn you over quick, play high pressure, and we'll have a restart here for Louisville. 3rd minute, Speedy Williams. Real name is Devin, native of Kingston, Jamaica. And the captain, Del Piccolo, running that double pivot in the center. We'll switch it left side to Ownby. Just outside the 18, working in on the right back, Kevin Alston on a rehab assignment. And it will be safely in the hands now of Edwards on a goal kick.
So it looks like Ownby playing on the left is a right-footed player, so he's going to look to cut in and play that ball across, either a more of a cross shot that time, and he'll be dangerous from that left-hand side. Alston's certainly going to have his work cut out there against the young Ormby.
Did see in that game against St. Louis that he and Ballard would switch on occasion. This will be played square out to the right side. Kyle Smith, native of Cincinnati, working up the right to Ballard. Ballard, who made the bench on the USL Team of the Week. Quite a performance in that 0-0 result. As Del Piccolo getting out of trouble. Here's the overlap on the right side for Louisville. We're in our 4th minute, and it's going to skirt just out in front on this really fast playing surface. Flag is up on the far side.
So Orlando City B holding rather a high line. Couple offside calls already. Going to have to be careful up there with the pace that Louisville City have got up front.
These two teams played 3 times in 2016. 2 games played in Louisville were split. And a lot of goals were scored between these two. See if that trend continues. Here's Da Silva. Polk will play it out. It's off of Louisville. Be a throw for Orlando City B.
Yeah, see a little glimpse there of what Pierre Da Silva can do in tight spaces. Very, very good in tight areas, and he was able to wriggle free and almost broke an opening there for OCB.
Michael Cox doing battle off his line is Tim Drobovolsky, who is technically the number 2, is Greg Ranjitsing out with an injury middle of the game last week. So making just his 2nd start in 2 seasons. Speedy Williams. Tarek Murad, left center back. He's paired there with Sean Toch for the 2nd straight week. And we'll serve it forward. It's going to skip a little too far in front there.
George Davis, the 4th, making a good run forward from midfield. And it's going to be important that OCB, Riley Kraft or Lewis Neal track him and track the runner, as that could cause problems.
Zach Carroll. Sent over to Kraft. Dropping deep. And it'll be turned over in the center of the park. The head up. George Davis, the 4th, in the circle. Will circle around Lewis Neal to Williams. Negative ball coming back to Murad. Oscar Jimenez, converted attacking player now, that left back. A lot of pace despite the lack of size.
And in that 4-2-3-1 system, they'll be asking a lot of work from Jimenez to get up and down that left flank. And he's certainly willing and able, I'm sure.
Jimenez making the team on an invited tryout in the preseason. So great story there for James O'Connor. O'Connor has really had to deal with some losses as far as personnel goes, Oliver, the last couple of seasons, and boy, has done well with really flying colors, losing the MVP and the defensive MVP of the league after the first year, and then made it right back to the conference finals a year ago.
Some small colleges and some small PDL teams also.
That would be the journeyman USL player. Puts it up. First corner of the match is going to go to the visitors from New York City FC. Minute. Mixer, and it's poked out of there by Earl Edwards. So he was sent to the rescue for the first time tonight. We'll do it again on the other side. Wow.
What a fantastic save from Tarek Morad. Just a great header. That header was arcing for the top corner there, and Earl Edwards with his top hand just puts that over for a corner. Great save.
Lewis Neal might have been there to save it off the line if it got by. And the referee, Marcus de Oliveira, will settle things down inside that 6. Of course, pushing and shoving has been an initiative at the MLS level to get that under wraps in these set piece opportunities, and they'll be poked high in the air by Edwards. Louisville will keep it in the attacking third, and definitely taken away. Nice job by OCB's young player Riley Kraft, who's on the ball now. Crafty player there, goes in with a 50-50 loose ball. And now on the run. Polk will leave it to the right side. Arston Martz chasing it. Inadvertent whistle from the crowd. We'll play it to the top of the box, and it's dealt with by Speedy Williams.
You see the skill and technique of the left back, Oscar Jimenez. He took the corner from the right-hand side with his right foot, bent it in, then went to the other side and put it with his left and bent it right in the 6 as well. So very talented technician there, Oscar Jimenez.
A switch hitter, to borrow the baseball term. Apropos for a team that plays at Slugger Field, a baseball AAA facility. And here's Owenby, who has had his moments against Orlando City in their first iteration as a member of the Kickers. And again, taken away. Nice job there by Zach Carroll. Clean things up.
Yeah, it's important for that entry pass to go into center forward Ben Polk's feet. He doesn't want that in the air. He wants it into feet. He wants that entry pass into feet, and then they can play off of that.
Dobrovolsky. Murad. And Tosh teaming up for the second straight week. A couple of the regular starting center backs serving suspensions to open the season. Paco Craig back available after serving the suspension from yellow card accumulation at the end of the season. Sean Reynolds, 3-game suspension to start the season because of a red last year. But nice to have guys like Murad and Tosh to pick up the slack.
Yeah, nice idea there from Kraft in middle of the park, trying to get the ball into the channel for Michael Cox, and that's where he does a lot of his good work. Those balls in the channel, those diagonal runs out into the channel where he can get on the ball and create something.
10th minute here in Orlando. Long switch of the point on that right side is Ballard. Really tricky on that right. He has the overlap to Smith. And he'll be forced to retreat into Del Piccolo, looking to make the switch of the point of attack. And here's Jimenez, who dropped inside a little bit. Loose ball, cleaned up by Williams. Tosh. And one touch to Ballard back to the back line. Connor Donovan. A little spin and taken away by Martz. Here's a shot, and it's in the back of the net from distance outside of that 18. The first goal of the season for Louisville City FC. And what a strike.
Yeah, Cameron Lancaster turned on a dime and just absolutely rocketed that in with his left foot past Earl Edwards and left Earl Edwards no chance. So great strike, but poor giveaway in the center of the park from Martz. Lancaster didn't need a second invitation. Bang, picked that one out.
1-0 to the visitors here in the 11th minute. Lancaster's first goal of the season. He had 4 a year ago on his return from an ACL injury he suffered in 2015, in which we missed the whole season. And Louisville again continuing to put on the pressure. Now OCB here in their home debut chasing the game.
Yeah, Lancaster full of confidence now, almost had an opportunity to turn again, but very, very poor turnover there from OCB. It's really important not to lose the ball in the middle of the park. There's another giveaway there from Lewis Neal in the middle of the park.
Louisville building again. And that will go out and in behind. Corner kick number 3 for Louisville as OCB continuing to absorb.
And Jimenez looks like he's going to go over there and swing this one in his left foot. It's important that OCB really get tight on this corner, get touch tight, and challenge every delivery in here.
One nothing Louisville City. Bent in, flicked on frame. Getting a head on it there was Tosh.
Another free header there for Louisville City. I'm sure Coach Anthony Pulis, he's yelling at his back line now. He is not happy with his back line. He needs to make sure those set pieces, the attacking players, are picked up.
Defensively, Lions did quite well, all things considered, in that opener in Tampa. The only goal they conceded was a penalty against a really talented team from the Rowdies.
And the defensive organization does take time, and on this lovely, big, beautiful pitch, got to make sure you've got things right, and not quite in sync to start this game.
Well, the point that Anthony Pulis will point out, we had 8 MLS roster players on that field that night, but they're not really MLS players. Only Really, 2 of them have ever started an MLS game, so they're young guys. So that's a little bit of a misnomer. And of course, you're switching parts in and out of the lineup. Here about middle of the season when Orlando City B started picking up a lot of those wins en route to that 8th place playoff run. In fact, beat Louisville on the road, and you got to watch out. As Owenby was right on Alston.
Yeah. Zach Carroll a little late there on Lancaster, but doesn't get called for the foul. And Zach Carroll is starting the game tonight. He came off the bench against Tampa, so it'll be important, his partnership with Connor Donovan.
Cox has not gotten many touches of the ball. Wearing number 99 this year. There's a challenge from behind to Silva, will be the guilty party. It'll be another free kick for Louisville. Murad, Speedy Williams. We heard in training this week, Anthony Pulis talking about the pressure that they were going to put on. A very high work rate team, just like their head coach. Now it's turned over to Silva, trying to find Cox. Too far out in front, couldn't measure it.
Nice idea, but I'm sure, Coach, when Pierre da Silva gets on the ball, they want to see him drive in with the ball, drive into that space in front of you, see if you can commit the Louisville City defense and then perhaps play that ball. A little bit too eager to play that through ball there.
And as boy Owenby and Alston having a battle here on this near flank. Owenby will not be able to keep that one in. Owenby out of Glen Allen, Virginia, so playing near home with the Kickers the last couple of seasons. 39 appearances, 7 goals. Former member of the Houston Dynamo, in fact, has 29 MLS appearances.
His work rate's been very good early on and certainly looked a danger.
He, like a lot of these Louisville City players, not going to back down against an MLS reserve side. Certainly has that pedigree. There's Tosh. The Illinois native, who was at Rochester the last couple of seasons. A lot of good MLS experience on the roster for Louisville. Lou City FC up 1-0. Trying to get out of trouble, quickly moving the ball. Martz on the right side. And he closes him down.
Yeah, not a lot of movement there in front of Kevin Alston. He had to go back negative to Zach Carroll.
Play direct to try to unlock things to Cox. Polk not in the same vicinity. Jimenez. Combination from Louisville. Stuck in Alston. Owenby getting the better on the ball just in front of Anthony Pulis. He is appealing for that ball having been out of play. It was not over the touchline by our vantage point, but close. Ball whipped in. It's Carroll.
Yeah, good header away there from Zach Carroll. Clears that ball and gets his back line up.
Flag staying down there.
Yeah, looked clearly offside from up here in the booth. I think the
Waiting
linesman got that wrong.
Did not amount to much, though. Played over a quarter hour here. Lou City FC up 1-0 on a goal from their striker, Cameron Lancaster, the Englishman.
And one thing I've seen tactically earlier on, in a 4-2-3-1 versus a 4-4-2, one of the strikers has to pick up the defensive midfielder, Devron Speedy Williams. He's having the freedom of the park right now to pick the ball up and dictate the game. And one of the strikers, either Cox or Ben Polk, needs to drop in and help the midfield out. Otherwise, they're going to be a man down every time.
Throw in OCB, Connor Donovan. Back to Edwards. Carroll. Grand Blanc, Michigan. Came to OCB by way of Red Bulls too, so he knows how to win some games, the defending champs. Here's De Silva on the ball, galloping towards the 18, gets out to that left. Looking for a little help, cleared away by Tosh.
And that's a lot better play from Orlando City. If they are going to go direct, it's important for the wingers, Martz and De Silva, to get those second balls. That time, Pierre De Silva got the second ball and was running at that Louisville City defense.
Switched over to Martz, wearing 77. First Orlando City player to wear that number since Jamie Watson. And Polk trying to get a turn there with the left foot. Goal out off of Louisville.
Lovely little layoff there from Pierre da Silva. Perhaps Polk could have hit that first time.
And this is Polk's first start, first appearance. Timbers 2-man a year ago. So maybe sent trying to get out of their own end here. Louisville certainly capable of doing that. Nice hold up there by Lancaster. Now Davis out in front. He will cut in.
Connor Donovan bought that turn, hook, line, and sinker.
Lancaster and Davis. Turn here for Riley Kraft. Getting his first start. Kraft from California, Sac Republic Academy. U.S. Youth National Teamer at the U19 level. Good noise, good soundtrack being provided here. As may not be the MLS level crowd, but man, it's certainly making for a nice atmosphere. There's Cox, who we've seen him on these runs before.
Oh, it's fantastic work there from Michael Cox. Every coach wants that center forward doing that work off the ball, helping his team, defending from the front.
Well, giving this a go and not quite on target there.
Leo Pereira will certainly want that one back. Slice that. Almost went out for a throw-in, I think, but jogs back into position there from the former Curitiba Brazilian youth national team player.
One of two Curitiba natives. Pereira technically on loan from Paranense, the Brazilian club with that relationship now, official relationship with Orlando City. There's a U.S. or make that a Brazilian youth national teamer, Pereira, 21 years old, played in the U20 World Cup for Brazil. Getting the start tonight at left back for Coach Anthony Pulis, now in his second season in charge. Second year of existence. Now it's Da Silva. Release the long ball. Polk down on the floor right now.
Yeah, very surprising the referee didn't pull that back. There was certainly no advantage from there. Ben Polk got his touch on the ball on the good entry pass and got absolutely clattered, and the referee played an advantage. I definitely think Ben Polk is not seeing any advantage there as he gets up and looks a little bit shook up.
Williams out left to Jimenez. Davis dropping deep. Center back combo now. Tosh takes some space. A little better from OCB the last couple of minutes. As soon as I say that now, they're going to yield some possession again. Jimenez out to Ownby and snuffed out by Alston, who read it well. Took one for the team in that one.
Kevin Alston, a lot of appearances for Orlando City last year, was a steady starter at right back.
Now in our 22nd minute, Lions continuing the chase. Starting to settle in, and Coach Pulis said, I think the lads were maybe a tad nervous in that first appearance last week in Tampa at Al Lang. Able to settle in later on. He thought the second half went a little better.
Against a very talented Tampa team, and this team is talented tonight, starting the game very, very well.
Ownby marauding just outside the 18. He'll give it a go. And it'll be put out for a throw. So Pereira got in the way. Murad. This high line being played. Certainly gives you opportunities on a counter.
And the pace Orlando City have up front, they'll be looking to play forward at speed when they can win it back.
Lancaster drop back, play the diagonal on the right. One touch to the inside, looking for Davis, bumped. The two 22s come together. Davis the guilty party there as he and Donovan exchanging.
See Lancaster holding his hamstring there, having a word with his coach, James O'Connor. Could be a change in the offense there. The subs are warming up there for Louisville City, and is certainly looking a little bit like he might have tweaked his hamstring there, Lancaster, which will be very disappointed if that's the case.
He certainly made the most of his time, that goal in the 11th minute.
He does look a sharp player and a good replacement for the top scorer they lost last year to Cincinnati.
Looking at the starting lineups, Louisville playing with one short in the deck. They only got 17 dressed. Trying to leave it down the line. Will it hold up? It will not.
You know, Alston, a fantastic defender, all-energy defender, but his final ball has always been his question mark. Can he improve that final ball? And a bit of a poor giveaway there from the experienced right back.
Williams getting some space to operate. Back to Tosh.
See, he's got the freedom of the park there, and I think it's important for Ben Polk to get over and get some pressure on the ball.
Trying to get in behind is Ballard. Did enough to keep things advancing. Throw from Smith. Getting around the edge. Ballard, a little tug of the jersey. Has been difficult to handle so far. Very confident, the man from Louisville. Played at the University of Indiana.
Coach Anthony Pulis was certainly aware of his potential and his talent on that right wing, and he started very brightly in this game.
Yeah, Ballard, the Louisville native, and Del Piccolo, who played at the University of Louisville from 2009 to 2012. Helped lead the Cardinals to the 2010 College Cup final. So very important for the community of Louisville to have some of their own.
Yeah, it's very important to build a community, and I think Kraft to be a little disappointed there that he got called for the foul. It looked like a strong, firm, fair challenge from up here, and you know, I think that's the nature of his game, Riley Kraft. He wants to get in and about the other team, and that's what Orlando City need right now.
Davis off the chest a little heavy. Pereira will drop back to defend. Lou City, a little back heel there. And fair challenge. Ownby inside the 18, gets the edge, gets a shot, and it's cleared out. Donovan made sure it wasn't headed toward the back of the net.
A lovely play there from Louisville City. First Ballard with a lovely little flick, and then the ball gets played out here to Ownby, and little step over creates the opportunity for the shot. Isn't scared to pull the trigger, and great save there again down to his left from Earl Edwards.
Clean up there from Donovan.
Jimenez again here is going to whip this in with his right foot.
Top of the box, Ownby got a foot to it, and we put in behind. Goal kick for OCB. They trail 1-0.
It's been pretty much one-way traffic here for Louisville City in the first half. Orlando City B getting outshot and outplayed at the moment.
Possession in favor of the visitors, 58%, nearly 59 to 41. So almost could expect a little bit of that coming in with the way that James O'Connor likes to play. And he had the same thing last week. Couldn't get one across that line. Able to do so here in the 11th minute tonight.
Another giveaway there from Orlando City. It's important when they get into the opposition half, they're able to get some clear possession and get some touches on the ball to get some confidence going. Very, very difficult when you're a striker and attacking player and you're struggling for possession, struggling to get a touch. Every time you get a touch, you've got high pressure on you, and certainly Cox and Polk are feeling that right now. We're really starved of service.
Put out throw in OCB. Pereira doing well there against Ballard. And it looks like we're going to have that change you'd already alluded to, Oliver, as it will be the goal scorer, Lancaster, coming off. So bad news there for fans of Lou City FC. But coming in to take his place, Luke Spencer, native of Cincinnati, Ohio, who played for FC Cincinnati last year, made 11 appearances. Also collegially at Xavier there in the Queen City. Did come on as a late sub last week. So making his second appearance of the season, and it's certainly concerning that your center forward is off with an apparent hamstring injury.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Cameron Lancaster after a very good start to the game. I'm sure Zach Carroll and Connor Donovan won't be too sad to see him leave the field.
So Lancaster out and Spencer in.
Like for change. Another striker will continue in their 4-2-3-1 lineup, I'm sure.
But again, it's a first half sub, where in years past, USL has had 5 subs available per side. That's been whittled down to the customary 3 this year. So you've blown 1 in the first, not even a half hour in. So that could, should this game be close, come into play later on.
Yeah, there was the same change they made in the last game, so I don't think it's going to affect the game,
But
too much.
This early?
Yeah. I think that change would have been, I would think Lancaster was maybe carrying that injury. He tried to go tonight and wasn't able to go the full 90, wasn't even to complete the half.
Okay, Cox trying to run in behind.
So there are those balls from front to back again, and it's good getting Cox in the channel, but there needs to be some build-up again. Again, he's living off scraps right now, and OCB really need to get some possession and get a foothold in this game.
Night has fallen here in the city. Beautiful. It's just a beautiful scene laid out in front of us on this brand new stadium. This is the 3rd competitive match played here. The MLS side getting 2 wins in 2 games. Going on the road for the first time this season at Columbus on the weekend. And that one's all the way back to the keeper, Dobrovolsky, who's not had much work to do so far tonight. Half an hour in.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a system change in the second half from Coach Pulis. They need to do something to counteract this midfield extra man that Louisville City have got, and they're taking full advantage of it at the moment.
Dobrovolsky taking his time, as you can expect. Dobrovolsky, born in Germany but raised in Rockford, Illinois. Definite German name, though.
Obviously some great German goalkeepers. He's hoping to follow in their footsteps.
The next Manuel Neuer.
I'm sure that's who his hero is.
Martz.
You remember the German goalkeeper Schumacher?
Yeah, Schumacher. City trying to build up here. That's thwarted, and now quick opportunity on the counter. Ownby on the reception of the pass. It's a give and go back to Davis, who's into the box. He'll send it to the back post. Nobody home as the run came from the inside.
Yeah, good transition there from Louisville City. Ownby, great run in and through ball. And perhaps if Lancaster was on the pitch, that could have been 2-0. Spencer was a little slow getting into the danger area, but here's Cox.
Coxey into the box. He'll send it to the far post, and just like the other end, nobody home on the far hub post, but he'll yield a goal kick, but some excitement here for OCB.
Certainly what Michael Cox can give you. He's got that explosive ability. He's got that nose for making those good runs, and he played off the shoulder there of the center back, and it's a nice ball in the channel, and perhaps the center back Toast just did enough, just leaned on him, and Cox couldn't get the good shot off that he wanted and pulled it wide. But a little bit more promise in there for OCB.
Dobrovolsky. Yeah, just one ball out to the side leads to a break here. Step up by Pereira. Louisville will have to reset and will switch the point. Jimenez. And Ownby with a nice partnership, and he'll continue the run. Flicked on and dealt with by Carroll. Made that intervention to send it out. He'll be throwing a prime position here for Louisville City FC.
Well, Ownby really has been a thorn in OCB's side in this first half. He created that play with a little 1-2 with Jimenez, and that creates the corner opportunity here for Jimenez to whip in. But good play there from Ownby.
Was over that end line. Another corner kick. Released. Again, a header on it.
And needed that win there from Zach Carroll.
Truck and run from Martz. All for naught. Smith. Well, loft the ball up. Allenby was there, and Spencer doing battle with Alston. He comes out of there with it. Spencer into Davis. Gets a shot. Save made by Earl Edwards, who stood tall, stood his ground. Not out of the woods. And that header off frame over the top from Spencer.
George Davis, the force running in behind and running between the lines, has been a feature of this half as well. And great little run from him and a good through ball from Luke Spencer. But as all good goalkeepers do, he didn't go to ground too early. Earl Edwards held his ground, didn't go down, and was able to block the shot when it was fired straight at him. So good goalkeeping there and great attacking play again from Louisville City.
OCB again meeting this team a year ago 3 times. It was a 4-1 loss on the road away in April. Came back to Eastern Florida State College, lost 4-3 in a game you and I did. It was, well, any game with 7 goals is going to be exciting. That was in June, and then OCB nicked one, 2-1 away in July. And that really mirrored what the season was for OCB, as they had some struggles out of the gate, but really had a nice little run of unbeaten games, I believe 13 in a row in the summertime, that set them up for the playoffs. As we saw guys like Tony Rocha and Mikey Ambrose develop and then move their way up to the MLS side.
Tony Rocha really was a great player for OCB last year, dominated every game, completed the most passes, and it's a good signing for Orlando City.
Just to show you what the purpose of OCB is, it is to develop. Winning is important, but maybe a little secondary. And that will be put out by Donovan. And they've certainly done that, because the third player to be advanced up the ranks was De Silva, who signed his MLS contract in the preseason.
One of the bright moments for OCB tonight have been when De Silva's got on the ball, when he's gotten the ball and been able to provide service for Michael Cox.
Turned over, Neal played the bad pass. Now he's off on that right side, trying to pick out a pass. Will bend it in on a bad effort as Cox unable to get there. Read well by Dobrovolsky.
Nice idea from Lewis Neal, and you're probably not going to tell him to use his right foot. He's got a wand of a left foot, and he tried to wrap his foot around that and
cultured it a little bit.
Yeah, or perhaps that just needed his right foot just to slide it into Cox's path.
Carroll. Earl Edwards. Alston. There's Polk. Switching things up a little bit, OCB. Neal can't keep possession right at the halfway line. Pushed forward, Ballard, look out. Making a run, good step 2 by Connor Donovan.
You can certainly see signs of that partnership between Zach Carroll and Connor Donovan being just a fantastic centre-back partnership. Both of them are very skilled, good at attacking the ball, good in the air. Just probably need to get used to playing with each other and the midfield plays in front of them.
De Silva is trapped along the side, took 3 defenders to take the ball away from him. And we've seen him get out of some pickles coming away.
Improved spell of possession here. Trying to play a little higher up the field, trying to make those passes.
Neal calling the shots. Polk drops deep. Foul here against Louisville.
Yeah, Martz laid that ball back, and good habits there from Austin Martz. As soon as he plays the ball back in, sprints down the line to try and get it back, and he was blocked off by Jimenez. Earns a free kick.
Got the British Pavilion there among the wall tonight. Goes to show you what the stadium is capable of, too. Not nearly at capacity, but still a good atmosphere. Sound carrying De Silva, a little step over, not enough. Checking the surroundings is Davis. Ownby crossing halfway. Martz trying to track him down. Good leave off here to Spencer. He'll pull it back to his right foot. And again, CB trying to just survive. Ownby will shoot and miss the target to the left. He thought it was 2-0.
Wow, Ownby really is putting on a show, and he is owning OCB right now. Just fantastic play. Created that opportunity there for Spencer. Ended up getting him back and just bent that ball just a little bit off target, but you can see what he was trying to do. Really good play from the Virginia native.
Former UVA Cavalier.
Has made 29 MLS appearances as well, so certainly has some good experiences, and he's showing all his talent and experience tonight. It's a very solid first half.
Switch, that's overshooting everybody. Throw to Kyle Smith as we've entered the 40th minute of this first half. Louisville 1, OCB 0. Jimenez, Davis, Alston out there to disrupt. Donovan. Now Davis get a run in behind, perhaps from Spencer.
A lot of flexibility in Coach O'Connor's 4-2-3-1 as well, because now you can see the Ownby's playing in behind Luke Spencer, and Davis, the fourth, has come out wide to this left-hand side. And
boy, a crunching tackle from Jimenez leads to a foul. Taking one from the team again is Austin Martz.
Yeah, Martz hasn't had a lot of joy, not getting much time to get on the turn, and he's clattered there by Jimenez.
Martz, a two-time Big East champion with Georgetown, in fact playing at a College Cup final. 24-year-old out of Mechanicsburg, PA, by way of Wilmington last year. 4 goals and 26 appearances for the Hammerheads, who are not in the league this year. Spencer, one-on-one with Carroll, disrupted it enough to make it easy for Edwards.
Yeah, the 6'2" Cincinnati, Ohio native showing all his strength. He's a big bruising center forward, Luke Spencer, and he was held off Zach Carroll there. Zach Carroll, a lot of potential, but welcome to the USL.
Marks the long switch, looking for De Silva, trying to hold off Smith. Marked him along that near touchline, trying to a little Houdini. Play the 1-2, the help from Pereira on the overlap. OCB will opt to work it around the back.
I'd like to see OCB, when they get the ball in that Louisville City's half of the field, try and stay there, try and work those combinations in Louisville City's half of the field rather than going negative.
Jimenez keeping it in. Del Piccolo got a touch, so did Williams.
Good pinch there from Pierre De Silva, coming in off his wing, winning the ball higher up the field. You can see not a lot of movement though, and you can see from this angle we're watching, not a lot of movement for OCB.
Well, Donovan will move. Center half all the way up on the other 18 is OCB committing numbers forwards here. Martz will send it in on frame, and it's an own goal put back in. A little miscommunication. OCB has leveled on the ball in from Martz.
Looks like Tarek Morad with the own goal, and he won't be too happy about that one. It was a good build-up play for Orlando City, and a nice ball in a dangerous area, a dangerous zone. Hit that second 6, Martz, and he did. And Tarek Morad, just with a horrific clearance, tries to slice it with his left, tries to get out with his left foot, and just slices it in his own net. His header in his hands, and he'll want the ground to swallow him up about right now. Tough mistake, tough break there for Tarek Morad, but that's what happens. If you're Orlando City B, you need to put balls into dangerous areas in this 4-4-2 lineup, and certainly there, Austin Martz put the ball into a dangerous area, and a great thing happened for OCB, not such a great thing for Tarek Morad.
First goal in favor of OCB of the season, so yet to tally of an official goal, but the own goal levels things at 1 as we're just a few minutes from halftime. certainly brightened up the confidence level for the lads in purple.
Certainly a great time to score for OCB just before half, and really a bad time to give up the goal for Louisville. See, that's the last thing you want, is to concede a goal just before half.
Martz made it difficult, caused that miscommunication by drilling that one inside the 6. Now Owenby trying to retake the lead as he leaves it for Spencer. He'll get a shot and sky it into the wall. Looks to the sky, and how did I miss?
Good opportunity again created by Brian Owenby. Hard running, finding those pockets in behind, and lovely little through ball there for Spencer. And you think Spencer had time there to steady himself and just got underneath the ball, put it into the wall.
You want to go for power, not necessarily grace, right?
Yeah, it's got to have a little bit more composure there. It was a good opportunity, ball rolling into the box, so certainly should have looked for more precision with that strike, especially if you're going to try and beat Earl Edwards Jr.
1-1. In the 45th minute, we await fourth official Natalie Simon to put up the placard to see how much stoppage we will have. It's Lewis Neal on the ball, switches it near side to Alston right at the halfway line. And we'll try to get Martz in behind, using that speed going to the end line. And it will be a corner kick for OCB, so maybe they can nick another one before half.
Austin Martz, great running off the ball. Checked to, then checked away, darted into that space, and Kevin Olsen found him. So good opportunity, good work off the ball there from Austin Martz.
See why Anthony Pula spoke so highly of Austin Martz, why he's in that starting lineup here to begin the season.
Yeah, you can see he's an ideal player for a 4-4-2 lineup. Hard working up and down that line, and always looks to penetrate off the run or off the dribble.
There'll be 1 minute of stoppage time. We've just entered that as a corner kick for OCB. Approach, an in-swinging kick, flicked out of there. And now you got to check yourself against any counter, and it will be kept in. De Silva. Coulter's one to the back post again, headed on, and it's Dobrovolsky. German, I got to brush up on the German.
I'll leave that one for you.
I almost said Ranjitsing, who is their normal starter. And into stoppage time here. Figure about 45 seconds left.
Anthony Pulis will be one happy man going into halftime. Has been an improvement as the has worn on for OCB, and they'll be delighted to be level one apiece.
Martz again causing problems and just gobbling it up right before the halftime whistle is Dobrovolsky, and we'll go to the half tied at 1. So the first goal of the match scored in the 11th minute by Lancaster and answered 3 minutes ago, Tarek Morad. Morad puts it in his own goal, and Louisville sings at 1.
Yeah, exciting game. Lots of opportunities, lots of chances for Louisville City, and some fantastic goalkeeping from Earl Edwards. And then not quite goal of the season there for Orlando City, but they'll definitely take it, and they'll take the 1-1, and they'll build again for the second half.
They will look to get a goal of their own as far as scoring their first goal in the second half as they look to take a lead. But right now at the half, it is 1-1 between Louisville City and OCB. When we come back, I have halftime stats and some highlights for you as well. You are watching USL Soccer here on USL Match Center and USLsoccer.com.
raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
As we enter week 2 of the USL season, let's take a look back at 2017's opening weekend. The Kings Cup started us off where St. Louis took on a new look under the helm of Preki, and with only one returning starter. The game ended up 0-0 as Louisville FC couldn't take advantage of their 16 corner kicks. Vancouver Whitecaps FC2 controlled most of the game's possession, but with their high-pressure Galaxy 2 were able to take advantage of a Vancouver own goal and slipped away another to come away with a 2-0 win. 6 goals, 5 yellow cards, 2 PKs, New York Red Bulls 2 and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds played to a 3-3 draw as Corey Hertzog impressed with 2 goals, including the Riverhounds' opening brace of the 2017 season. A record crowd of 8,021 in Richmond watched their home team defeat the Harrisburg Islanders 1-0. Goalkeeper Travis Warwick kept his team in the game, denying a Harrisburg PK in the 13th minute, and the kickers responded with Connor Shinovsky's dominant set-piece goal in the 51st minute. The 25th home opener for the Charleston Battery ended with a 2-1 win for the club over FC Cincinnati, thanks to midfielder Justin Portillo, who notched an assist in the opening win along with the go-ahead goal. The Tampa Bay Rowdies opened their inaugural USL slate against a familiar foe, Orlando City B. In front of a large sellout crowd, they set a new attendance record. George Ristoff, the club's all-time leader in goals, slipped a PK right up the middle in the 57th minute in order to seal the win for the Rowdies. 3 seasons, 3 opening day wins for the Tulsa Roughnecks as they routed the Colorado Switchbacks 4-1. Colorado got on the board first in the 17th minute thanks to Shane Malcolm, but Tulsa responded with 4 unanswered goals to take the 4-1 win. Duke LaCroix and Carlos Alvarez connected twice to lead Orange County SC with 2 goals and 2 assists apiece to spoil Reno 1868's opening game as a member of the USL. Coming off a 2016 trip to the USL Cup Finals, the Swope Park Rangers found themselves behind Oklahoma City Energy FC in the 24th minute, but responded with 3 unanswered goals to win 3-1 in their home opener. 6,890 fans were in attendance to see the inaugural game at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, but Jay Chapman set up Ben Spencer in the 8th minute as he tucked away the lone goal of the game to give Toronto FC2 the win. The Real Monarchs opened their season with a 2-1 win over Portland Timbers 2, taking advantage of corner kicks by netting both goals off Charlie Adams' set pieces. An early goal for Seattle Sounders FC2 in the 5th minute wasn't enough for the home team to hold on, as Sacramento Republic FC responded with 2 second-half goals to get the 2-1 win on the road. HEB Park was the shining moment for RGV as too little too late was the storyline for the Toros, who found their momentum late in the second half, 1-0 to San Antonio FC. Billy Forbes notched the game winner in the 15th minute, giving San Antonio their first win in the South Texas Derby. And that's your look around the league for USL Network. I'm Morgan Conklin.
Back in Orlando City Stadium, 1-1 between OCB and Louisville City FC, match day 2 of the season for each of these teams. Jeff Radcliffe, Oliver 12 threes. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Plenty to talk about as we look at the stats first. A lot more even a game as you'd expect, with the exception of the shots, as OCB has a goal without the benefit of a shot on target, really.
Yeah, certainly, the shot count, possession was pretty even, but I'd really like to see if OCB's possession actually in Louisville City's half, that was probably the key for me. They were able to possess it in their half, but once they got into the opposing half, it was difficult for them to keep the ball and really didn't get a lot of clear-cut opportunities. Therefore, they didn't get the shots on target. On the other side, Louisville City with 10 shots, 5 on target, and Earl Edwards really did a fantastic job keeping the score just down to 1.
Well, here a look at the highlights, and it was Earl Edwards coming to the rescue early on.
Yeah, great top-handed save there, and good ball across here. This is the Ownby really was dominant in the first half and creating the opportunity here. Just a little long with the cross, but great play all first half there from Brian Ownby. Ball comes in, good save out.
build up again. Owenby helping create this one.
Yeah, Owenby really a thorn in the sign of Orlando City B here. Ballard as well, very active on the right-hand side.
So Michael Cox able to break free a couple of times. But a little too far from goal for your liking. Again to the back post, that was saved off the line.
A lovely little step over there from Owenby. Creates a shot with his left foot. And then George Davis, who we talked about in the pre-game, creating that opportunity. But that was the moment of the half there for Louisville City. An absolute rocket from Cameron Lancaster, the former Spurs man, with his first shot of the game. Left-footed, puts that in the top corner.
First goal of the season for Louisville. And then the own goal, Tariq Murad.
Yeah, certainly a moment forget for the California native. But good play there from Austin Martz on the right wing to create that goal-scoring opportunity.
Fans, something to cheer about late in that first half. Second half will come your way right after this when we return to Orlando. It is OCB 1, Louisville City FC 1 here on USLsoccer.com. Welcome back to Orlando City Stadium, getting set for second half action. In fact, 3 minutes on the clock. As the team's returning to the field now to begin their warm-ups. It's Orlando City B 1, Louisville City FC 1. Jeff Radcliffe, Oliver 12 Trees. We just talked about the highlights, the stats. Any trends you can pick out that could be advantageous for OCB going forward?
Yeah, it's certainly important to get the ball out wide. You know, it's very, very important in this system, in a 4-4-2 system. It's important for Pierre da Silva to get on the ball, him to find those pockets, either wide on the sideline or inside the fullback, where he can get on the ball and create. The same thing on the other side. Some great running off the ball from Austin Martz, and they need to get him more service. If he can get service, as you've seen from the goal, I think he's got the potential to put dangerous balls in, and he's got that hard running, good attitude where you can see he wants to cover a lot of ground. So feed him the ball. He's going to create on the run, and feed Pierre da Silva the ball, and he's going to be able to work magic with those great feet of his.
If you're James O'Connor, you have to feel a little bit unlucky as far as some of the shots, chances that you had at that target and could not bury, yes, and then the one that went against you at the other end.
Certainly, you know, is having Earl Edwards in goal lucky, or is it just by choice? Though Orlando City P have got a fantastic goalkeeper, and he's made some great saves in the first half, and certainly in the goal they conceded was a little bit unlucky, and they'll be looking to bounce right back. And, you know, the substitution they had to make, you know, Cameron Lancaster have to come off after scoring that great goal. And Luke Spencer came on and was very, very active. 3 shots in his about 25 minutes appearances in that first half. So he was very, very dangerous and led the line very well.
OCB being outshot 10-4. Shots on target, in fact, 5-0. As that 3 shots are actually the ones off target from OCB. So they've got the goal without the benefit of a shot on target. So that's certainly efficient.
Definitely. And it'll be really interesting to see if Coach Pulis tries to change something. Is he going to counteract the ability that Louisville City had to keep the ball in the center of the park and feed Ownby and feed George Davis the fourth so easily? You know, they were a man down that midfield with that 4-2-3-1 versus the 4-4-2, and it did tell, and it did show. So it'll be interesting to see if there are any tactical adjustments as the second half's about to get started.
Deeper look at some of the stats. Also, duels won as in favor of Louisville, 25-20. So that's that little stuck-in stat. And then the passing accuracy, really good for both teams, really. 83.6 for Louisville, 82.2. You'll take that the rest of the season.
Yeah, but you'll see the stats. That's why stats can sometimes be a little bit misleading, because I don't think OCB have possessed the ball in Louisville City's half. They've possessed it in their own half.
Passing
It's
around
been
the
very,
back.
very deep possession. But as soon as they've crossed the line of that halfway line, Louisville City's got into them and made it very, very difficult for them to maintain any sort of productive possession in their half of the pitch. So I think that'll be another thing that Coach Pulis will be telling his team at halftime. Will have told his team at halftime, look, we've got to try and possess the ball further up the field, and we've got to try and hurt them when we do have it.
45 minutes on the clock. It will be Louisville attacking left to right, and we've got a change here to start half number 2 as Dikwa Albert will make his second appearance of the season. And let's see who he came in for. He's obviously a striker, the Cameroonian out of the Soccer Institute at Montverde Academy.
Yeah, it looks like it's a
Ian
straight.
Cox,
Looks like it's a straight swap for Ben Polk up front. So I watched Dikwa Albert play at Eastern Florida when they played against San Antonio, and well, he is a talented young player, no doubt about it. This boy has speed, power, skill. He is the whole package. So I'm excited to see him tonight.
So each team has made one change of the allotted 3. Dikwa, a 19-year-old, real hungry lad, a pleasant lad too, and now 2 and even a third Montverde Academy player coming to OCB.
What, you know, Coach Mike Patempa has got going up there in Montverde Academy. Just an absolute conveyor belt of talent. He's picking these plays up for all over the world. But this is different now. He's been used to playing against high school boys and club players and the odd exhibition game against top teams. Well, now he's in the pros. He's going against seasoned centre-backs, Tarek Moorhead and Sean Toch. It's going to be a big, big stern test for the young Cameroonian.
He's on the ball now. Again, he and Yemeni Jules is an outside back with a lot of pace. Could see him in the coming weeks.
Luckily, at Eastern Florida, we had the opportunity to play against Montverde for the last couple of years and played against the young Dikwa Albert, and he had a good game that day too.
So there's 2 programs. You got the SEMA program, then you got the high school program. The high school program, which has won 4 straight national championships.
Yeah, I believe
he was SEMA.
Yeah, and he's won something like 157 games straight. So some record that is.
Right side is OCB on level terms, thanks to the own goal by Murad in that flurry at the end of the first half. Donovan. Let's talk about some pace now up top. Along with Cox, you've got Albert, a guy who can play as a striker or a winger, so it gives Coach Pulis some options. Neal. See this one go out. It'll be a throw for OCB. Pereira with the throw.
Push in the back there on Albert, but the referee didn't move.
Prestel Oliveira, not going to be that easy for you. Marks will track back. Picked up by Jimenez. And there's a foul conceded. Quick restart, and it leads to an offside flag.
Yeah, quick thinking there from George Davis, the 4th, but referee was offside, and the referee called it back and gives him another bite of the cherry. Louisville City have not made any changes. Pretty predictable there after a very solid first half. And even though it's 1-1, they performed very well on both sides.
Closer look at Smith on this near side. Owenby, the switch side now on the right.
And you can see that was probably in the team talk as well. Let's get closer to Owenby. He cannot have the freedom in the park in the second half if OCB want to get a positive result. And you can see in the opening minutes, Connor Donovan got right into him early and didn't give him any time to turn on the ball.
In the meantime, George Davis, the fourth, is over on that left flank. Just plug guys in, move them around, move the pieces around. And sent into Spencer. He's into the box. He'll shoot it. Saved again by Earl Edwards. Delay there. Pressure continuing to be put on by Louisville City FC. Jimenez. Send it in. Flick on off target that time as Ownby denied once again.
Great save. Earl Edwards stands tall again, stays on his feet and makes the block from Luke Spence. That's Luke Spence's fourth shot of the night. OCB cannot keep giving him time in the box. He will put one in the back of the net if they continue to give him time and give him opportunities to score.
Back to Edwards, who was the man of the match in that opener for OCB in that loss 1-0. Made a number of big shots.
Certainly been OCB's pick of the night tonight so far, and that's not good news. That's not good reading there for Anthony Pulis. He wants some of his outfield plays to be making an impact on this game.
Perhaps Dequa Albert could be one of those. Ian Cox getting physical down in the corner, and it will come back on a throw to Louisville City FC.
It looks like the linesman got that one wrong there. Certainly came off of Louisville City last.
How many times a year ago, Oliver, you and I would watch Michael Cox really be invisible for a lot of the game, and then he'd pop up for 2 goals in the second half out of nowhere.
He is a true goal scorer, and he just needs a chance. He showed that in the first half. He got that one chance and a little unlucky. Just pulled it wide, but he will get more chances in this game, there's no doubt.
Pereira will give it a go and send that into the wall.
Nice left foot there from Pereira. Lots of whip on that strike, but just a little bit too much.
And Pereira in the loanee out of Paranense. 14 appearances since 2014, now 21 years old. And got a goal in the U20 World Cup. So he's playing at left back, and Coach Pulis said I can use him at left or centrally if I need to. The top flag is up on Dequa Albert.
Louisville City holding a good line there, pushing up. The ball went negative from OCB, and they stepped up a few yards, and they kept the young Dequa Albert offside.
Murad, the goal scorer for OCB. Standing nicely in there. Again, this Ballard zigzagging. Ballard along the right side, send it across and over. Looking at Ballard, he reminds you of an Ethan Finley.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. Very direct runner, wants to get the ball at his feet and run at the fullback, and
he can put in a nice cross if he needs to.
And he's got the floppy hair as well.
Yeah, floppy hair. That's what truly reminds you of the Columbus Crew midfielder and U.S. national teamer.
Former Creighton player. He used to work camp up there with Coach Woolman, and he was a young player there on the squad, just transferred in.
Creighton has certainly put a lot of players in the professional ranks. Speedy Williams got in the way of that one. And here is Spencer using that physicality. He's in past Donovan, holding his ground. Boy, nicely done.
Mentality from a center forward is so important. He wants that physical battle, Luke Spencer, and he's enjoying himself tonight. He knew what he was going to do before he got the ball. He knew he was going to try and turn Donovan, and he did just that. Good explosive play.
Carroll was there to slow it up.
This is a possession we talked about, possessing the ball in their own half. Need to try and step the lines up, try and break some lines with their passes.
take some space. He looks up, numbers come to close. Spencer's one of those, and will release the long ball forward in direct fashion to Albert. Here's Da Silva. Albert will make the run in behind and commits the foul. And
experienced play there from Tariq Morad, you know, as a defender. As soon as you feel that pressure from the striker, you go down and you're going to get that call all day long.
Dobrovolsky with the wall behind him now. It'll be a little bit more difficult here in the second half for him.
Well, Pereira certainly does look like he could play center back. He's a big, strong boy. I'm sure you might see that as the season progresses as well, and maybe have a little bit more of a flying left back in his place and shift him over to left center back potentially.
Headed by Carroll, go out of play. OCB will have the throw. A little more even here to start the second half. Those first 30 minutes were largely dominated by Blue City FC.
More challenges there, up front there.
Dikwa causing problems again. Safely back to Dobrovolsky.
Yeah, Dikwa may have had more touches than Ben Pope did in the entire first half. He's been pretty lively to start this second half.
A free kick. See the players warming up for OCB, those subs that are available. One already used, Joe Gallardo, Paul Klaus, Danny Deacon, Zach Ellis Hayden, Scott Thompson, and of course the keeper, Jake Fenlison.
Excited to see Joe Gallardo, young, talented U.S. national team youth player. He could perhaps have the key to unlock this Louisville defense. Very creative player.
In the Monterey system in Liga MX. We're coming back stateside. Native of San Diego. See him. Get him and Pierre Da Silva in there. You'll have the all youth hair team. Back to OCB throw. Pereira will do it again. As Ownby charging hard.
Yeah, Ownby only 26 years old. Drafted by the Houston Dynamo.
Called a number of games when he was a member of the Kickers. Always a thorn in Adrian Heath's side.
Well, you can see why he's having a good night tonight. Very active, a lot of movement. Him and George Davis continuing to switch positions from the left-hand side to the number 10 position.
Trying to get Ownby in behind. Defense is out. Pereira. And keeping that run going, and it's in. Causing the problem was Ballard.
Yeah, the combination play there, Ownby, Ballard, and then finally to George Davis, and what a good combination goal there from Louisville City.
Made no mistake. And George Davis, the fourth, has the second goal of the night for Louisville City FC.
And that's the strength of that 4-2-3-1. All three attacking midfielders in the play. Ballard plays it there to George Davis, the fourth, and a good strike, hard and low, just concentrated on firing that, getting over the ball with pace and power and accuracy. It looks like it might have gone right through the legs of Earl Edwards as well.
And Louisville back in front against the run of play a bit that time. Ballard again into the box, trying to cause problems.
Ballard, good running again on the ball, very direct, taking that space.
Martz into the open field. Defender fell down in the middle of the park. Murad.
An extra man on the far side too.
We'll come back. And that's going to get some boos from the supporter section. And a yellow going to Michael Cox. So back-to-back games, the Canadian going into the book.
Interesting call. I'd like to see the replay on that and see exactly what that was for. I'm not sure Michael Cox even knows what he's done there. But the referee does, and he's gone in the book and picks up first yellow card of the match, I believe.
So De Oliveira into the book. Cox will have to be mindful. Talked with him a little bit about frustrations last week. Didn't want it to carry it over this week because he's a known quantity now after scoring 11 goals a year ago.
Yeah, certainly defenders know who he is, and they're going to be marking him very, very tight, and perhaps a little bit of frustration there.
Martz will let the advantage play, and now will be pulled back. And Marcus De Oliveira says that's enough.
Yeah, a little bit lucky to get away with that. Oscar Jimenez, very cynical challenge, knew exactly what Martz was doing. He turned away from him. He had no real intention of playing the ball, but he wanted to stop the runner, and he did just that.
Neal into Dikwa Albert, and back down by Pereira. Going in heavy Owenby, and it's off of De Silva. Louisville has retaken the lead. And now Spencer marauding again for some assistance. Leaving it across. Martz trying to break it up. Davis on the ball. Top of the 18. He'll give it a go. And Alston was there to disrupt it. Here's Carroll.
Spencer again, great running behind. Really looking to make the most of this opportunity off the bench. Luke Spencer.
Those were shown by Murad. Really like Richard Ballard.
He has a lot of flair and pace, and not scared to show it you tonight. And that's what you want in a good young player, have that confidence.
Make the bench for the USL Team of the Week in his debut. Switch to the near side.
There we go. De Silva's in a bit of space here. What can he do?
Silva will bend it across, and it's a big save made by Dobrovolsky, or it would have been level at 2.
That's the kind of quality you need. And De Silva showed that lovely bit of quality. Just puts that on an absolute dime. Albert Dikwa. God, put that on his head, and he just couldn't quite control the header. Went straight at Dobrovolsky. A good play. You can see the quality there that Pierre De Silva possesses, and that's what OCB need more of. Get him the ball out here in the channel and let him create. And you've got 2 targets up there now in Dikwa and Cox that can finish if given the opportunities.
Given away. Davis will square it left. Jimenez. Del Piccolo switches to the right side. Again, it's Ballard. Out to defend Pereira. Stands him up and clears it away. As far as Speedy Williams, it's off of Louisville. And OCB will have the throw. So we've played a minute past an hour.
Good defending there from Pereira. It's important he gets close to Ballard early and not allow him to get started, not allow him to get running with the ball. When he gets running with the ball, he's going to take some stopping. But if he can get there earlier, he's going to have a lot more chance to slow him down. But he's not getting too much help, I don't think, from Pierre De Silva. Pierre De Silva, I think, has been told to stay high. Let's try and get you the ball on the attacking side. So Pereira's pretty much going to be on his own for the rest of the night, especially as they're 2-1 down going against Ballard. Oh, good press in there from Orlando City, but good ball movement as well from Louisville City. Managed to get out of the press.
Pereira making sure that Ballard knew he was there. And Owenby able to get back. Kraft. The negative ball back to the keeper, Earl Edwards.
I think Coach Pulis will be a lot happy with that, though. Even though they're 2-1 down, they want them to press higher up the field, and were a little unlucky not to win the ball back higher up the field and create something themselves.
So Piccolo got the first head contact. Zach Carroll. It was a big prize for Anthony Pulis in the offseason, wrestling him away from Red Bulls 2. Pereira off his chest. Pressure comes. And a spin on Smith. Much better from OCB. Switch to Alston on the far side.
I Lovely ball there from Kraft. Perfect driven ball right on Olsen's foot.
Sends that one left.
Nice tracking back from Ballard. You would like to see that in a young man working back both ends of the ball, defensively and attacking.
Silva alone here on the back post. If they can get a good cross in, be cleared away by Murad.
Yeah, Mart's there, had that yard of space. He should have taken another touch, driven to the end line, would have gotten a lot better position to make a cross, was just a little eager to play that cross.
There's another change for James O'Connor. And Obi Ballard must have given all he can.
The Irishman, Niall McCabe, coming on from Dublin, Ireland. Another young Harris College prospect and former Chattanooga FC of the NPSL.
Substitution comes in the 64th minute. Each team has made 2 changes. So yeah, McCabe made 21 appearances last year, a couple of goals, 4 assists for Lou City FC.
That was a fixture in the lineup last year.
You mentioned Young Harris College. In fact, James O'Connor has 3 of those players from that school in Georgia. Paco Craig along with McCabe and Ilya Illich. One forward, one midfielder, one defender. Sending it to the back and past Austin Martz. A much better spell here since that goal. Dikwa was right at that top of the 18-yard box. Good step up from Pereira. Da Silva. Neal. Send it across. Flag stays down on the far side. Sent in. And all those headers being dealt with. Does everybody keep in shape for Louisville?
Possessing it in Louisville City's half. That's the difference here so far in the second half. Good play from OCB.
Oh, Pereira off the chest. And then the shot from Lewis Neal just wide. It was held up really well by Michael Cox, though.
And some of the best possession OCB have had, possessing it in the final third, moving the ball from right to left. Some great switches there from the captain, Lucas Neal.
Asking a few more questions now. This back line of Louisville. Each team looking for their first win of the season here tonight. OCB for its first result.
OCB, last 25 minutes of the game going into the last period, it's important that they start throwing some more numbers and pressing the ball higher up the pitch, and they're doing that. They're certainly trying, and it's an improvement. Even though they're 2-1 down, this is perhaps their best spell in the match so far.
Pereira, a nice cut in and a little tug of the jersey. It was a veteran move by Ownby. They just stopped the advancement. Everybody in the stadium saw it. Ooh,
a little bit of a hospital pass there from Earl Edwards.
Oh, headed back by Zach Carroll right the whole way.
Here's a chance for Martz to get on his bike.
Switches it. Da Silva, little undercut, comes away. Pierre Da Silva, head up, now down, sends it across. Flicked by Cox. And right into the hands of Dobrovolsky.
That could have been goal of the season there if he'd have just flicked that overhead.
Did he mean that? Did he mean that?
Well, maybe he was trying to, he's been watching Dennis Bergkamp videos. Okay. He was trying to flick it over his head and then smashing it with his left foot, but not quite.
I would have had nothing as far as words for that one.
But again, big improvement there from OCB.
Back, Tico Albert going to chase this down. And the pressure causing a little bit of consternation.
Yeah, good press in there. Da Silva needed to press that as well. When Albert was pressing the centre back, Da Silva needed to press as well, and then they would have been able to win the ball back. And when you do press, you've got to press as a group.
Just OCB's goal was an own goal in that first half by Louisville's Tariq Murad. So I'd like to get one the more conventional way here. Little spin Da Silva showing his quality. Lewis Neal all alone center of the park. Whips it wide to the right side. Martz has had a good game.
Lewis Neal now certainly finding his feet and getting on the ball and doing what he likes to do, spraying that ball left to right. There he goes again.
Pereira, Tyler Riley Kraft, his first start, the youngster. It is about development here for OCB, and win when you can.
And Kraft has had a good game tonight. He's got around the palm, made some good passes for a young player. He's been pretty impressive.
He stayed in, or apparently not. Marcus de Oliveira did not see that.
Interesting call there from the referee and the linesman. Yeah, there's one for the highlight reel there, for another one, I should say, for the highlight reel for Pierre da Silva. Great feat.
To enter the 70th minute here in Orlando. It's Louisville City FC 2, OCB 1. Second game of the USL season for each team. Looking at the technical area, James O'Connor about to make his third and final change. That will be skirted just wide as Spencer, another great chance. Worm burned that one, but wide of Earl Edwards.
Luke Spencer, I believe that's his 5th or 6th opportunity of the game. Good hard work from him, and a bit of a mistake in the midfield there from Lewis Neal. That's where the first goal came from as well, that OCB conceded. So, you know, more work on the training ground and their patterns of play, building the ball out of the back. They got to be a little sharper because they cannot turn it over in their own third. That's what leads to goals.
We'll bring in Guy Abend. He'll come in for Owenby, who's definitely left it all out there.
Yeah, he was calling for a sub there. Not very often in this level of football do you see pro players calling for a sub, but he certainly has nothing to be ashamed of. He's put in a great shift tonight and played very, very well.
Final 20 minutes now as OCB still looking for an equalizer.
I think over the course of this USL season, you're going to see a great partnership developing there between Owenby, Davis, and Ballard. 3 exciting attacking players.
Direct, and immediately City going on the offensive. How much energy can they expend without conceding again? They're going to try to sit on this lead. Abend more of a central type of midfielder from Israel. His 3rd season in Louisville, been there since the beginning.
So Coach O'Connor perhaps trying to shut up shop a little bit and taking off 2 of his more prolific attacking players in this game.
To walk out of here with all 3 points. His first road game of the season for Lou City FC was Speedy Williams. The Jamaican leaving it right. Smith puts that one out, and it's in behind. It will be a corner kick for Lou City FC. Doesn't get easier for Louisville City after this one. They've got to go on the road to Richmond. Always a tough place to play. Lee Calishaw's crew.
And Coach Pulis was telling us, you know, what a tough schedule, what a tough conference this is going to be here on the east of the USL. A lot of top teams.
So what do we do to tick off the league? We have to open at Tampa Bay, come back against Louisville. The team has been one of the best, if not the best, as that one's played out of there by Pereira in the Eastern Conference. And that will be in the hands of Earl Edwards. You look ahead, you got the champs after a game against TFC in Charlotte at home. This is the first of a 3-game homestand for OCB. Then it's on the road to the champions, New York Red Bulls 2. So it is a gauntlet to start the season. So you want to get points when you can. It'd be really nice to come back and at least split the points here tonight.
The addition of Ottawa as well. They'll be a strong outfit.
There's really no easy outs. You look at Montreal is no longer operating their B side, and Wilmington not in the equation this year either, two of the teams that finished near the bottom of the standings last year. And then you bring in Tampa Bay, Ottawa, St. Louis from the West. St. Louis, who got a result in the opener against this Louisville team on the road last week at Slugger Field. Will it hold up? That will be put out. OCB ball. It's in there, headed back frame and put over the top of the bar. Oh my. Martz thought he had the leveler.
Looks like the linesman has called for offside on
anyway.
Martz.
Okay.
But you'd be interested if it was Martz that got called. If Albert had managed to convert first time, would the linesman have kept his flag down? Because I believe it was Martz that was offside and not Albert. So if Albert had been able to convert, perhaps it would have been 2-2.
A bit of danger there provided by OCB.
No more crosses in this game from OCB. So you can see their tactic is to get the ball wide, is to get deliveries for the two front men. So they have achieved that, and about 10 crosses now they've put in this game, and looking to try and get something in this last 15 minutes.
Pereira and Da Silva, the Brazilian and the young lad with the Brazilian-Peruvian descent in Pierre Da Silva. Must be on that same wavelength on the left side. We'll be content to knock it around the park a little bit as we're about to enter the final 15 minutes of this match.
Del Piccolo there picking out another pass. He's completed a very high percentage of his passes tonight. Keeps it simple.
Kind of plays like his coach. That's the way James O'Connor was.
Yeah.
James, over 500 senior appearances as a player, mostly over in the UK. He's finished his career here in Orlando for a couple of years.
Big Luke Spencer again, creating havoc up there with his strength and size, and just a little strong on that final ball.
Picked out by Gaia Bend, who read it. Shoring things up for Lou City FC, trying to get out of here with a 2-1 victory.
The pace of this game has certainly lulled a little bit, slowed down. It is only the second game of the season, so fitness is more of an issue. It takes a couple of games to get the game fitness, the match sharpness going, and you can see that a little bit tonight, perhaps with those early substitutions as well from Ballard and Omi, not quite up to 100% match fitness yet.
Oh, it's nicely slipped through, and it's 3-1. Spencer finally has the breakthrough, a little backflip to go with it, the little cherry on top, and it is a 2-goal lead for the visitors here.
Yeah, lovely little through ball there from the Irishman, Niall McCabe, and a great run off the ball. Luke Spencer's been working so hard since he's come off, and he finally gets his reward. Very well deserved from the big man, and a nice little finish from him. Made no mistake after very, very good creative play from Niall McCabe. You see this, Niall McCabe just sees that little slide rule pass, puts it on an absolute plate for Luke Spencer, and a little bit of gymnastics, acrobats after as well from the big man, and I did not expect it from the probably 200-pound Luke Spencer doing cartwheels after he scores. But
I don't know if James O'Connor wants his striker to be doing that at that size.
Yeah, maybe his first goal. It may be his first goal in USL, so maybe we've got lots more of that to come, because he certainly worked hard and earned that goal tonight.
Did not score last year for Cincinnati, and then nearly getting it behind was Martz. And now it's desperation time for OCB. Cox. McDequa holds it up. And Martz has been all over the field. Gets a turn on that one, puts it out. Throw in OCB. Trailing by 2 after the goal from Spencer. So yeah, first USL goal for Luke.
And he's had a lot of chances tonight. He's worked as hard, and he's created those opportunities for himself, and with his hard running, and definitely deserved that and took it very well.
And into the hands of Dobrovolsky.
I'm sure Coach Pulis now will look to see the character of his boys. You know, how are they going to react now?
McCabe had 4 assists last year, picked up his first one of the season here tonight. Helped create the goal. And certainly content to possess with a 2-goal advantage.
And as you said, the goals have certainly came a little bit against the run of play in this second half. OCB definitely out-possessing.
Spencer feeling it now, tries to go one-on-one through.
Yeah, he's really enjoyed himself tonight.
He came on as a sub in that first half for the man who opened the scoring, and Cameron Lancaster.
Yeah, it would be suffice to say that I would think he'll be starting the next game. Good performance off the bench.
Strike rate may not be the highest, however, the work rate was good. When the commentators are talking about you a lot, it's usually a good sign. And we'll just make OCB chase here. 11 minutes to go. A bend. Dealt with by Pereira. And looking ahead, and OCB 2 straight home games after this one. And certainly some positives to take here from the performance should the scoreline stay where it is. Martz, one of those bright spots tonight, gets a turn on things. We'll chase it down into the corner. And we've got a corner kick for OCB. So could this be one of those lifeline situations?
We do have a couple of substitutes being readied. They'll come on after this corner kick. One of the coaching rules, never make a substitution on a corner. Coach Pulis abiding by those laws tonight. But we do have the exciting young prospect we talked about, Joe Gallardo.
And Danny Deacon, the MLS contract. That one flicked back and nothing doing.
A big opportunity there to get back in the game. Free header there.
Well, Deacon, the man drafted make that 64th overall in the 3rd round this year in the draft, and then Gallardo. Great name, great surname anyway for this OC franchise. Harkening back to Miguel Gallardo, the longtime keeper here. Joe, a different cup of tea. An attacking player with a lot of flair.
Yeah, very creative, can play up front, can drop into the holes in behind, and he'll sub on for Michael Cox. So you've got a very young strike force on there now. You've got Albert, all of 19 years old, playing next to Joe Gallardo, 19 as well. So a young strike force, but definitely a talented one. Deacon will slide on the right side for Martz, who was definitely a bright spot for the night, some good hard running. Maybe just didn't quite have the end product that I'm sure he'll be working on throughout the season.
So like you said, Gallardo 19, Albert 19, De Silva 18. So your front 3 right now for OCB.
And that's perhaps the difference in the 2 squads. You know, a seasoned Louisville City squad is, got some more experienced players, and Orlando City going with those younger players, giving them that opportunity to shine and develop.
The lone exception, the very youthful Lewis Neal at 35.
I'm sure he'll probably tell you he'll win some of the fitness tests as well, Lewis Neal. He can run all day.
Little birdie told me he finished 2nd in the beep test in the preseason.
I would like to see who beat him.
With the MLS and OCB guys.
So you know who beat him?
I do not know. I didn't hear that. Do you know?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But I'm interested to see.
I'm going to venture a couple of guesses. Maybe Carrasco.
I can tell you who probably didn't beat him. After I actually did watch them do the bleep test last year at Eastern Florida, and they're doing a bit of preseason, and Kaká definitely wasn't beating him. I'll tell you that much. He got to the level I think they were supposed to get to, and then I was surprised he even did it.
Yeah. I was about to call out Lou. He's the only player in the Orlando City system in that pyramid that is older than Kaká.
Okay.
But by the beep test, certainly plays younger. Will run all day. Yeah. He's on the ball now. Will Johnson, another one. Big motor. There's the MLS side on the road this weekend in Columbus. Now the OCB on the short end of a 3-1 score line, about 7 minutes and change to go. OCB will be back here for a Tuesday game against TFC2. Laid back. Now Neal will switch it. Da Silva, is there magic in his feet? Trying to get it around, and we stood up. It's job by Smith.
Yeah, nice play from Gallardo there to pick up the ball. Get it back to Lewis, out wide in the channel, and Da Silva's touch was a little heavy and wasn't able to get it around his opposing fullback, Carl Smith.
We'll come back. Earl Edwards has had some good moments here tonight. Faced a couple too many shots, though.
Yeah, very strong performance from Earl Edwards. Made some great saves.
Pereira. Albert Diqua. Gallardo giving some chase. A lot of pep in the step.
Making his debut. Certainly wanting to impress. Picks it up here again.
On the ball. Chase it down. Tag team to take it away. Neal disrupted it. Alston will be on it. Connor Donovan. Kraft. Start venturing forward here. Pereira. Oh, 1-2. Da Silva. Back to Pereira, continuing the run. Put out. Be a throw for OCB. Quickly taken. Trying to get it into Albert. Arad. Unless something changes in the next 5 minutes, OCB looking for their first goal scored off their own body part, foot or head.
Yeah, important last few minutes here. I'm sure Coach Pierce will want OCB to keep going, show the character, show them they can break down opposition's defenses in this last few minutes. See if they can get something to continue to work on in training.
Carroll. 50-50 a little over the back there from Tosh. Quietly has had a solid game. Neal, the right side is Deacon. And taken to ground, off target.
Good run in there from the Sheffield man, Danny Deacon.
All-Conference USA performer at the University of South Carolina.
Drafted in the 3rd round and played in the NPSL in the Detroit City.
Wow, what a good following that team has.
Lots of opportunities for young player in the US, and you can see on this roster both teams picked up some players that have had good experiences in the PDL and the NPSL and some small colleges, some major colleges, but a lot of different ways to work your way up the ladder in the soccer world here in the States, and it continues to grow and grow.
Deep throw for Louisville. They lead 3-1. A couple of goals here in a game that was knotted at 1 1/2. Alberts, not nearly enough on it. Well, it'll be 2 games this coming week. As OCB will not play on the weekend, but back here Tuesday for TFC2, and then next weekend against Charlotte. We'll complete the little 3-game homestand here.
And Zach Carroll a little frustrated, going in hard on Lyle McCabe, and a little unlucky to get called on that. Hasn't quite been Orlando City B's night tonight.
Remember a year ago, though, it was a slow start to the season. Then they started figuring things out, and results just kept coming as they climbed up the table.
Well, that's what you want to see.
Don't bail on this team this early.
That's what you want to see. You want to see improvement over the course of the season. And last year, there was major improvements.
Oh, nice combination there now on the right side. Alston will look to craft in across. It's going to go out for a corner kick here in the 89th minute. Nice to see them send the fans home away with a goal.
Yeah, they have been pushing in the second half. Dominate possession in the second half.
When curled in, Pereiro's looking to get it to Silva. And muscled off the ball by Smith.
Counter-attacks on now.
George Davis, the fourth, has the overlap on the left side. Leaving it left. McCabe, one-on-one, gets it to go. It's going to be tuckered out. Throw. And this will waste a lot of the remaining time as we enter minute number 90.
Nice counter-attack there, started by Kyle Smith on the right fullback position, winning the ball, winning the duel there with Pierre da Silva. Nice switch, and George Davis, the fourth, feeds in for the strike.
A little push down, Smith a little talking to Da Silva. Will get up and move. Hearing 2 minutes stoppage time will be tacked on. So a short time for OCB to try to get a result. Deacon. Dequa. Gallardo. Spins, comes away. Defenders close down. Chase will come out near side. Da Silva. Corner kick, Orlando. 2 minutes now official.
That's a nice interchange there. Danny Deacon to Joe Gallardo. Gets the ball out right here to Pierre da Silva, and Pierre da Silva looks tired. He does. He looks like he's put everything into this game tonight.
Kraft serving up the corner. As Marcus de Oliveira have to settle the pushing and shoving incident. Whipped in, top of the 6. Gallardo will hold it in. Leave it out to Neal. Will he have a crack? No, Deacon will. Saved and cleared out. About a minute and change.
Very positive, the way OCB's ending the game here. Really pushing to get that goal back. Really like the way Albert was trying to follow in that shot, and if that had rebounded out a little bit better angle, he would have been able to there for the tap in.
Big win by Deacon. Now we're in that final minute of the 2 minutes minimum. Crafting it to the back post. Sent in front, nobody home, nobody making the back post run. You see Gallardo's frustration. It's a really nice little ball across the 6.
Yeah, there's an extra man at the back post and tried to just play that across first time.
Pereira, another ball bending and gathered in by Dobrovolsky. That will about do it. Less than 20 seconds. This goal kick will probably take care of it.
Yeah, Gallardo shown a touch of class in this little cameo appearance from the young man.
Well, certainly some things for Anthony Pulis to munch on when he comes back and looks at the tape. And we've got a foul as we are now past that 2 minutes. And a yellow to Pereira. So making his mark into the scorebook.
Yeah, a little frustration there from Pereira. You could see the Brazilian lad as time was ticking down. He wanted to have a little bash there at McCabe to finish off the game.
And we're at full time as the 2 former teammates shake hands midfield. Anthony Pulis and James O'Connor. And Ginge got the best of Ant tonight as Louisville City has its first victory of the season. These two groups of friends on the coaching staff. You see Lewis Neal. A good performance. A lot of things to take out for OCB as they fall to 0-2 on the season. But it is still early, Oliver.
Yeah, certainly some positives to take out of the game. Their wing play was positive, and the young Pierre da Silva and Martz and the young strike partnerships were interested in moving forward. It'll be interesting to see which way Coach Pulis turns in his next match. Is he going to stay with the same lineup, or is he going to mix things up and give some of these young guns like Joe Gallardo the opportunity right from the start? But very impressive from Louisville City. OCB can hold their heads high because this is a strong Louisville City team as expected, with a very, very formidable front line. Brian Ownby, George Davis III, Ballard, playing behind the front man, looked very, very impressive tonight, and did fully deserve 3 points here.
That was Lancaster in the first, Davis the third, and Spencer in the second half. Those are the 3 goals. In fact, 4 goals scored by Louisville tonight. Is Tarek Murad. Tarek with the own goal as OCB avoided the shutout. 3-1 is the final. We'll take a break and wrap this baby up right after this. You're watching USL Soccer here on USL Match Center as OCB falls 3-1 to Louisville City FC.
Shot saved by Ashwin Harris. And a shot off the underside of the crossbar and in. It's Kristen Edmonds. And how do you like them after? Punches it again. Spencer at the top of the box will let it rip. And it's in! Another score for Jasmine Spencer. Spectacular once again. It's Edmonds. It's in!
Back at Orlando City Stadium as each team with some fans tonight. We did see OCB salute the fans in the supporter section. Entertaining game, Oliver 12 trees, especially OCB in the second half. Might have conceded those 2 goals that kept them from getting the result tonight, but there were a lot of good passages of play by the home team tonight.
Yeah, we talked about the need for them to possess the ball in Louisville City's half of the pitch, and they certainly did that. They created more opportunities, but of course, 2 sides of the coin. If you're pushing more numbers forward, if you're pressing higher up the field, then you are more liable to be hit on the transition, and that's exactly what happened. But here we got some highlights from the first half. Good save there from Earl Edwards. Brian Ownby again, fantastic play tonight, creating the opportunity with the cross there.
Yeah, it was Louisville with the lion's share, to borrow a phrase, of the possession and the chances in that first half.
There's Ownby again, driving at the heart of the defense, and Lancaster just gets stifled out there.
Yeah, shout for a penalty they thought not to be.
Good work from Michael Cox. He worked hard in this game, but didn't really have a lot to play on. Didn't have a lot of service up to him in the first half, and a little bit more action in the second half. Here's Ownby again. Makes Earl Edwards, makes a great save down to his left-hand side. Again, standing firm against George Davis, who had another good performance tonight.
Whipped wide of the target.
And here's the goal. Before he was substituted from injury, Lancaster puts one side net in. Great strike.
Not much Edwards could do about that. It was 1-0.
And then really it was a Luke Spencer show.
Here's the goal for OCB. It was an own goal. Tariq Murad, a little miscommunication there, flicks it back in his own net.
Definitely one to forget for Tariq Murad.
It was 1-1 at the half, a lot to cheer about. There's a decent crowd on hand here in this home opener for OCB. Then in the second.
Good work from Luke Spencer, just bullying OCB's defense. And then great combination play there from Ballard and finished off by George Davis.
Former Lion for 7 games in 2012. That gave them the lead. As we look again, he went 5-hole on Edwards. Had to feel good. OCB had plenty of chances in the second. That one, Stickwell Albert couldn't quite redirect it.
And that would have been goal of the season right there. We talked about if Cox had been able to put that on target. And
a little spin cycle for Pierre da Silva.
And then Luke Spencer again, bulldozing up front. You can see a lot of crosses in. It's definitely going to be a characteristic of OCB this season. Can they put balls in the box?
And there, his just desserts. Or Spencer there on this one. Nice finisher's finish from Luke Spencer.
Yeah, a bit of class there from Niall McCabe, the Irishman, just slide rule pass. And we've got the acrobatics there from Luke
the landing.
Spencer.
Yeah. Folks in Louisville have a lot to be excited for here in 2017. A lot of different weapons. OCB had a shout to get back into this one.
Danny Deacon there with the strike.
Another look, parried away. A good game for Dobrovolsky, the keeper. And everything was being knocked off its moorings at that point. 3-1. And just before full time, Neal, nice layoff.
And some positives. Again, yeah. The lads off the bench, Gallardo, Deacon did make an impact off the bench. And a really nice touch there. All the OCB players going to the wall and acknowledging their support.
Led by the captain, Lewis Neal. And they'll be back to the drawing board. They won't have to wait long. They'll be back here on Tuesday here at Orlando City Stadium. Another chance to see these guys in action. And for the first time, they'll take on another MLS second side and TFC 2. So that may present an opportunity for Anthony Pulis' lads.
Yeah, certainly some positive results last season against TFC, and they'll be looking to come out here and really improve on what they've done tonight. You know, it was there were some moments where they showed that they could, you know, create some opportunities and defend well, but they need to really, really improve going into that game. There'll be a lot of work on the training ground, and they'll be ready for it next match.
Good broadcast here to start things off. In the end, it was a 3-1 defeat to OCB. So glad to have you along wherever you happen to be here on USL Match Center. For my partner, Oliver 12 Trees, for our producer, Jim Clark, Director of Broadcast, Marcos Perez, and our entire USL Productions crew, I'm Jeff Radcliffe saying good night from Orlando. It was Louisville City FC 3, OCB 1. Good night.